Okay, guys. So obviously this is in response to my little post about, making 60% profit, really easy, no risk, and la, 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 la. I know that sounds exciting, but I'm going to take you through just a really simple trading strategy that can give you the potential. I mean, obviously making 60% profit is never going to be, snap your fingers easy, but I'm going to take you through a strategy that will allow you to do that with very minimal risk, as I said in the post, with only 1% risk to your initial capital. So there will not be any more risk than that, but it's not, obviously it's not going to be always easy to make that 60%, but the risk is low, so why not give it a whirl, I think. I've actually seen something a while ago about this type of strategy, and I've just been playing with it myself. But I want to, depends on who's watching this and how much they know about trading, but so I'll just quickly go through it. If you guys that are on the call, if you have any questions about what I'm saying, just speak up, because I want to try and explain it so most people can understand. But so what we're talking about here is, I know there's a lot of people here that know me that are using software to do their Forex trading, but really what we're talking about here is manual trading. So before you've got any hope of pulling this off, you really need to have some manual trading knowledge. But when we place a manual trade, what we're trying, there's a few things that we're trying to do. We're trying to decide whether we think the market's going to go up or the market's going down. So that's where some trading knowledge comes in on how to do that technical analysis and work that out. But the other thing that trading is all about is risk management. Really, that's probably the hardest part of trading. The technical aspect of working out what the market is most likely going to do isn't all that technical, but sticking to your trade plan and managing any risk and not getting greedy, that's where people run into trouble. So there's a thing called risk to reward ratio that you may or may not understand if you don't know much about trading. But let me just bring up this tool here. Forget the lines and everything I've drawn on the screen. I just want to, let's just assume that this part of the market hasn't happened yet and the market's just come down here. And I'm not going to try and do an analysis on this chart or anything, but let's just say that right here, we've determined that placing a buy order would be a good thing. So we can use this tool here, and where this middle line is between the green and the orange is where we've placed our trade. And then we need to work out where to place our stop loss. And just to touch on that, I don't want to get into teaching people how to trade on this call. I just want to go through the strategy. But when you place a stop loss, you don't just place it, if you say, oh, I only want to lose $5, so I don't want to lose any more than $5, so I'm just going to put my stop loss this far down. That's not how you use a stop loss. You have to look at previous market structure, and there's a certain position where you have to place that stop loss, because if the market were to reach that point, what it means is that your technical analysis was either wrong or that didn't play out the way you wanted. So there is an exact place that a stop loss needs to go. And in this example, it would be on the next bit of market structure. If you look to the left at what the market's done, the most recent low point in the market is right here. So the stop loss needs to go, just a little bit lower than where that green candle went to. So I've done this technical analysis, and it's showing the market's moving upwards. It's in an upward trend. If the market were to go lower than this, that would mean that it's no longer an upward trend. So my analysis was wrong, didn't play out. I don't like to say it was wrong, but you obviously get it wrong sometimes, where it just doesn't play out. And so at that stage, you want to be willing, and you've got to be willing as a trader to say, okay, that's not working out. I'm going to take that little bit of a loss and look for my next trade. So that's why the stop loss goes there. Similarly, the take profit needs to go where the take profit needs to go, not just somewhere because that's where you want. So in this specific example, this is the most recent high point. And because I think the market's going in an upward trend, I think that the market is going to go higher than this. So, but to be safe, I would just place my take profit line at that, like equal to that most recent high point. I think it's going to go past it, but just to be on the safe side, I'm just going even with it. So what we're looking at there would be a very normal, quite a nice trade to take out. And right here in the middle, if we read this, risk to reward ratio is 2.68, which isn't too bad. The example I'm going to use in this strategy I'm going to show you, it bases it off a 3-to-1 ratio, off a 3 risk to reward ratio of 3, which simply means that I'll place the take profit a little bit higher. So what a risk to reward ratio of 3 means is that for every dollar you're risking, so this is the dollar you're risking, you're potentially making $3. So if it doesn't have to be 3, you can do a lot less, but if your risk to reward ratio is getting down around about that 1 or 1-to-1, however you like to say it, then you're risking $1 to make $1. It's not a very good trade. Most people won't take out a trade unless it's at least 1.5 or preferably 2. All right, so I just wanted to run through what I mean by risk to reward ratio, because that's going to play a part in what I'm going to go through. Does that all make sense, guys?
Yes, thanks.
Good. Okay, so I just okay, guys, so I've just brought up Notepad because the strategy I'm going to go through, it's just about making the numbers work for you, really. So I'm going to be using a calculator here myself and just typing the results up here on the screen. So what I said in my post was that we were going to try and endeavour to make a 60% profit in only 3 trades, and without risking risk no more than 1% of your account balance. Okay, so that's what I said in my post. So let's just, to make it nice round figures, let's say we've got a trading account balance of $1,000. And so we're going to do this in only 3 trades. What I didn't say in the post is that they have to be 3 consecutively winning trades. But we'll go through another couple of scenarios as well once we do this one. So like any strategy, when you show somebody it, it's best case scenario and everything. So obviously it's not always going to play out perfectly. We all know that, but let's just go with trade number 1. And actually what I was just showing you, that risk to reward ratio, is we're going to be risking $1 to make $3. So our risk to reward ratio is 1-to-3. So on our first trade, we're going to risk 1% of our account, which obviously on a $1,000 account is $10. Now, like I was showing before, with where you have to place the stop loss and everything, is what you would do is you'd work out where you wanted to place your trade, you'd work out where your stop loss would go and your take profit would go. And as long as, like this has to be based off a 1-to-3 ratio. You can have less, but it doesn't play out. If the ratio is a little bit smaller, obviously it doesn't make as big a profit. But so we're just working on that one. So we work out where we're going to place our trade, where the take profit and the stop loss needs to go. If the risk to reward on that is 1-to-3 like that, then it's a trade that we can use to make this play out how we want. Then we just need to decide how large of a trade we're going to place. And we decide that by coming up with and there's plenty of calculators to work this out, is we're going to place a trade size that would mean if we hit that stop loss, we would lose $10. And then, without having to work it out, that would simply mean that the take profit, because it's the risk reward is 1 to 3, that would mean the take profit was going to give us a profit of $30 if that was hit. So that's what we're doing. We're risking $10 and, we're potentially going to win $30 on that trade. So obviously, because this is the perfect case scenario and we're making it up as we go, we're going to say we won that trade. So that takes our account balance up to $1,030. And so that's good. That's one trade we won. On our second trade, and you know what? I've just realized that already I've lied to you guys. I'll show you why in a minute. So on the second trade, well, let's just go back to the first trade, first. So you can see that the only money we had at risk here was this $10 because that's where our stop loss was. So at no time during that first trade did we ever have more than 1% at risk. On our second trade, and quite often that's just how I trade. I'll make one trade like that and make $30 or, 3%, whatever you want to call it. And, then I'll just go and place another trade where I'm risking 1% and try and make another $30. And at a 1 to 3 ratio, I only need to win 33% of my trades to break even. So even then, that's really good. Because if I could lose 3 trades, if I've just won $30 or I've just earned $30, to lose that, I would have to lose 3 more trades in order to, 3 more trades of $10 to lose the money I just made. So I guess that's just winning 25% of my trades just to break even. So trading in theory is very easy. It's just when we let our head, our nerves, our human emotions and, our greed and our, we also get scared when we're losing money and we get greedy when we're making it. That's what interrupts our trading plan. All right, so instead of just doing trades over and over like that, we're going to do a little bit of compounding. So we're not just going to risk 1% this time. We're going to risk, let me just put this in here, that was 3% that we could have won. We're going to risk the money that we just made plus our original 1%. So that's $30, $40. So that means we're going to risk $40. Sorry, I'm just trying to work this out as I go. And yeah, I think that works out. So we're going to risk $40, which is, I've just got to work that out as a percentage on my calculator.
3.8, is it?
Yeah, it's 3.88,
3.9
or something. Let's just call it 3.9%. I could have come up with round figures, I guess. So, anyway, so roughly, it's not quite 4% because we've got a slightly larger account balance now. But we're going to risk $40. Actually, I'm going to try and make it a bit easier to work out. We're going to risk 4%. Nice round figure. So it's not so technical. And now 4% of our current account balance of $1,030 is $41.20. So that's what we're risking. Our risk to reward ratio is still 1 to 3. So if we're going to risk 4%, we're actually going to be potentially making 12%, which in this case would be $123.60. And obviously we won that trade as well. So now our account balance is $1,153.60. Now, if we had have lost this trade, we would have lost $41.20, which is our $30 we won on the first trade and another $11. So this is where I lied to you. We actually, on this trade, we were actually risking 1.12% of our original initial capital. So yeah, I lied. So on the second trade, first trade, we're only risking 1% of our $1,000. On this second trade, even though it's a much larger trade, we've still only risked 1.12%. Have to forgive me for lying, of our initial $1,000. So if we had a loss that second trade, we would have been down $11.20. But we didn't, we won it. So now on to our third trade. And I guess you can see where we're going with this now. So on the third trade, we're going to risk the 12% we just made on that last trade, plus our original 1%. So we're going to be risking 13% of this account balance. That will do $11.53.60, which is $149.96 if we want to be technical. Risk to reward ratio is still 3 to 1, so our potential profit is $39. Now, I just want to mention that, just flick back to this screen, although we're now aiming for 39% profit on this trade instead of just 3% like we were in the first trade, it doesn't mean the market has to move any further. All it means is our trade is a larger size. So we've made instead of making a $10, let's say we made $100 trade here, now we're making a much larger trade. So that if we hit the stop loss, we're going to lose that percentage that we're working on. Take profit would still be in the same place, but because it's a larger trade, it turns out as a bigger profit. So we're not asking the market to move any further or do anything different. We're just making a larger size trade to make this play out. So if we win this third trade, it would mean we would earn $449.90, 3 times the amount we risked, which, would take our account balance up to $1,603. And you can see that $600 is 60%. So if we won these 3 trades in a row using this plan, we would make a 60% profit. So 3 trades, we've just made $600. And on this first trade, we only had that 1%, so $10 at risk. So, so even this one, we only had $10 at risk. On this second trade, we actually had $11.20 at risk, so a little bit more. And on this third trade, we don't really have any risk at all, because if we had lost this third trade, we would have lost $150, but we've already made $153. So even if we win the first trade, win the second trade, but lose the third trade, we're still up $3.60. So there's no risk at all on that third trade. There's still risk to the money we've made, but there's no risk to our initial capital. And what we're looking with this strategy, we're just looking to, you need some trading skills. And, I probably wouldn't be going to do it on a $100,000 account, although maybe I would be, because you're still only risking 1%, 1.1%. It's pretty good to see how you can just have a smaller account balance, which is what it's really good for. You can just make 3 quick trades and, make that 60% profit. So you can see how to be very, very easy, or not easy, but you could very quickly double your account balance doing this. And if all went south, you're never going to lose a lot of money. So if this is the way you normally trade, this first trade, then you're used to risking 1%. Like 1 to 3% risk on a trade is a pretty normal sort of trade plan that traders have. So that's still just a small risk. The second trade, it's still only a tiny risk, and then there's no risk on the third one. The only, so that works out very, very easily. The only thing is, do you have the skills to win 3 trades in a row? Because if you do have some trading skills, and I mean, I haven't been manually trading for a long time, but I'm quite confident that I wouldn't say I would win 3 trades in a row every time I tried to do it, not by a long shot. But if I played around and tried this a few times, I know I could win 3 trades in a row. So that's all definitely doable. And if it doesn't work, well, you've only got that little bit of risk to worry about. And if you place 3 trades and they're all the same as this one, and you won all of them, you'd end up with 3, 6, 9% profit. If you do it this way, you make 60% instead of 3. Does that sort of all make sense, guys?
It certainly does. Thank you.
Yeah, so I mean, there's not like anything magical there. It's just a little strategy that you can compound on pretty quick.
Just need to find those winning trades now, Les.
Yeah,
help with that bit.
It still comes down to learning the skills to be able to make good trading decisions. But if you're at a stage in your trading career where you feel like you might be able to, even if you just think, well, maybe I might be able to win 3 in a row, then bang, 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 you could do that. But even if you did this trade and you lost, so so this is how it could play out. You could do the first trade and you could lose $10 because it didn't work. So you lost $10. So then you'd start again, and if you lost that one, you lose another $10. So on the third trade, you win the third trade, so you have a win. You just sort of roll that profit over into the next trade. You try the fourth one, and you win. And then on the fifth trade, which would be this one here, you lose that one, but you still end up making $3.60. So you're still up $3.60. So then you try again. You have the sixth one, and you take a loss, and you do the seventh one, and you win. And then you do the eighth one, which we'd be doing the second scenario there, and you lose. So you're down $11.20. So then the ninth trade you win, and then the 10th trade you win. That was the 9th, 10th, and then the 11th one we win again, which would give us that $603 profit. So you don't have to. It doesn't have to be the first 3 ever you do. So here we've had a bad run. We've lost, win, lost, win, lost, and then eventually we get 3 in a row. And I just sort of made that up as I went, but we just made $603, and we lost $11.20, and we lost 10 plus 360 minus 10 minus 10. So even though we had the vast majority of losses and eventually got 3 in a row to win, that gave us a total profit of $565. So still worthwhile. So it doesn't matter if you have a heap of losses in a row and you win 2 and then you lose the third one, so you've got to start again. If it played out like this and it took twice as long as that to have a win, you're still going to end up $500 in front. So it might take you. I mean, honestly, it wouldn't for a 60% profit. That really wouldn't matter if it took you a couple of weeks or all month in order to get 3 in a row. Unless you had a hell of a lot of these little losses along the way, you're still going to end up. So let's say this was 11 trades we took over the course of a whole month. We've ended up making 56% for the month. If it took us twice this, which would be 22 trades over the course of a month in order to get 3 in a row to win, we're still going to end up with over $500, which is still over 50% profit for the month. So, you can have a terrible run and then eventually manage to get 3 in a row, and it can turn out significantly rather very nice. So that's all. Wasn't a very big story I had to tell you tonight, just something interesting that you can play with and think about.
So Les, for that strategy,
Yep.
are you sort of advocating just one trade live at a time in a way, in order to be able to prove the theory? Because you can't stack trades, can you?
No, in order to prove the theory, but I mean, you don't need to prove the theory. You can just incorporate this into, whatever other strategy you're using. If you're stacking trades, you can still do that as well. I mean, the figures aren't going to be as neat and cut and dried as this, but as long as the whole theory really is just that you're using profit from one win to allow you to make a bigger trade the second time around with no more risk. So you're sort of doing a big compound on the profit you just made, and then just doing that 3 times in a row. I mean, if you're an awesome trader, maybe you could do it 5 times in a row, and then you would have, if you did the 4th trade here in a row, you would have more than doubled your account already.
You'd be on 100% by the end of the week.
There you go. Well, you could. I mean, we're all in airy fairy land here and just all working on possibilities. So you could make 3 trades like that in a row in one day. Really, I mean, it doesn't take a trade long to play out sometimes, depending on how you trade. So you could bang those 3 trades out in one day and do that. But this is more how you would expect it to play out. Plenty of losses in the row. Win 2 in a row and get excited, but then you have a loss. Got to start again. But it's all worthwhile.
I feel a spreadsheet coming on.
Yeah, no doubt.
I feel a modelling spreadsheet coming on.
For sure. But,
so on that 3rd trade, you're not even risking 1% of your original balance in effect,
even if you lose the 3rd trade, win the first 2, then lose the 3rd one, so you lose $150, but you're already up 153.
Yeah.
So you're still up. So I mean, nobody cares about risking 1% because that's what a trader does every single time he places a trade, if not more. But as I said, 1 to 3% is what most traders try to teach as a nice low risk way to trade. But there's obviously heaps of variance to this. We just won 3%. So maybe you can take half of this profit, say $15 plus this 10. So then it'd be 2.5% you put in here. And then when you win this one, you just take half of this profit and put it up in here. And you probably only end up winning making 30% at the end of it. But at least you're not risking all of your winnings each single time, but you can still just compound a certain amount of the winnings on each trade and roll it over to the next one and do the same. You could be happy with just going for 2 in a row. 2 trades in a row and you're up 15%. That's not too bad for 2 trades. So then start again at 1. So just go for 2 in a row and go for 15% at a time. Then if you make 15% a month, you're going to be an extremely rich trader within, not too long at all. So 15% a month is more than enough. So if you can just come up with 2 winning trades in a row, that's all you need to do that. But
a lot of food for thought.
Yeah, exactly. You will be playing with your spreadsheet, I know.
I am. I can see it coming on with all those columns.
Did you catch most of that, Janet, or did you miss the good bit?
No, I missed it all.
Oh, well, you'll have to watch it.
I just been on for about 5 minutes. That's all right.
Oh, it's good. It was good, Janet. It's good.
There you go.